Let's get to Shemar Stewart first. I think that's the guy that, you at number 9, I had him at number 7. He might go number 9 or number 7 in the NFL draft overall, Dawn. This is a guy who might be a top 10 pick overall, but we obviously are a little bit lower on him than most people right now. What is there to like about Shemar Stewart, and then what are the things that you're kind of looking for him to improve on?
So for both of us, I think we believe this. Tape is king, right? And
yes.
Even the grades are a reflection of the tape, and you've got more information there on the grades as well. But the first thing, you do look at him on a football field or at the combine, where he had one of the best combines we've seen from an edge player, and you go, okay, that's a freakish guy. That looks like a guy who could take a game over, and I'll tell you, he is a very, very good run defender. In a class with a lot of excellent run defenders, he's got a big wingspan. He uses that length. He uses that power. There's times even laterally where I really like the lateral step that he gives playing off of moves in the run game. The strength and the power is evident. You saw it in the explosiveness at the combine. And I even wonder if he could play as a wide 9 edge rusher and use that length and power a little more often. Now, I think the big question for me is about finishing plays, is about a pass rush arsenal, and it's about, look, I know ball production, and we're ones who believe, obviously, that pressure over sacks is king, and the more often that you have pressures, fantastic, but it feels like there's so far to go with him when it comes to ball production, even in the run game, finishing plays with tackles and tackles for loss and things of that nature. He's very good at beating his blocker and using his power and length to beat blockers, but eventually I need plays on the ball. And in the number that's been thrown out there is 4.5 sacks in his college career. How much of Shemar Stewart is the projection and the what if, right? Because I'm of, and there are some of this mind that some people want to know, okay, this is how good a football player this guy is right now. With a little more to go, anybody can get better. And then there are teams, I think about like Shemar Stewart being a guy that, say somebody like a Trent Baalke, if he was still running the Jaguars, would probably love with all the measurables. Some people are measurables and combine and athletic potential people. Me, not as much. It's obviously a factor, but I think there's still plenty of flaws in his tape, especially as a pass rusher, that can be fixed. So would I take him, say, at a spot like 8th overall to Carolina? I would not.
Yeah.
I get the potential, I get the ceiling, but there is, when you watch his tape, there is a ways to go when it comes to his technique, especially as a pass rusher.
So what are you thinking, like more late first round, early second round right now?
Yeah, I think that's the range where I would think about him if I was a team, even, I don't know, let's just say Washington at 29. Like, that's a high upside play you could make at that pick and go, okay, this guy a year or two from now could be a monster in our defense, right? But to take that gamble on a team, let's say Carolina, who needs a star defensive lineman right this minute, I don't think Shemar is a right this minute guy. I think he's a guy that you take and you think about, okay, 2 years from now. Remember when the Bills took Greg Rousseau, I think sometime in the 20s, and now in his 3rd, 4th, 5th year, he's coming in to being a star player? That's the idea that I would have for Shemar. And I know, again, the athletic traits, if people like the A-plus athletic traits and what we saw at the Combine, you're going to take him higher than me. I get it. It's a loaded group, right? Last year, he may have been edge 4 in last year's class, right? But that's the difference for me, is how much do you value the theoretical ceiling versus what we have seen at Texas A&M for 3 years.
And you and I think both, we do factor in the ceiling and what guys are athletically, but like I said, tape is king for both of us at least. And the tape is lacking compared to some of the other top edges we have in this draft. Now, there is some argument to be made that, hey, Texas A&M, look at Nick Scorton as well, didn't really allow them to be fully unleashed, right? You look at, what they were doing at Texas A&M, really at Purdue for Nick Scorton. We'll talk about this for later, but like at Purdue, he was able to pin his ears back and rush the passer. At Texas A&M, they're more concerned with the run game, so it's more reading and reacting. So you're not really, pinning your ears back and trying to go get the quarterback. That could hurt you as a pass rusher, and that could hurt Shemar Stewart. And what I'll say for Shemar Stewart as well, he's had as good of a pre-draft process as you could possibly have right now. He was the highest graded player at the Senior Bowl, 93.4 grade during the week of practice at the Senior Bowl. And in terms of the Combine, had a perfect 10 score in the relative athletic score made by Kentley Platt. Go check him out at MathBomb on Twitter. This is an awesome thing where he has numbers for every player at the Combine from like the 90s to now, and basically takes all the measurables into one composite ranking, kind of like our gas score, but is for the Combine. He had a perfect 10, which means he is quite literally, in terms of his numbers, the most athletic edge rusher we've ever seen at the Combine, because he had 6'5", 267 pounds, 34-inch arms, who's really, really good size, 10-foot, 11-inch broad jump, 98th percentile for edge rushers. 40-inch vertical, 96th percentile for edge rushers. 1.58 second 10-yard split, 91st percentile for edge rushers. And a 4.59 40 is 90th percentile. Again, 4.59 at almost 270 pounds is crazy for Shemar Stewart. He's got violent hands, speed to power, obviously, you can see by those numbers, is very good. Impressive bend, I thought, at his size as well. And like I said, he has an 89.7 run defense grade this past year. He's really able to set the edge. Now, the pass rush production, only a 65 pass rush grade this past year. Hand placement needs a lot of work. He kind of misses his punches sometimes and mistimes his punches. And not a lot of moves right now because he's kind of relying on his athletic gifts. But a lot of refinement needed for Shemar Stewart. But I'm excited to see what he can look like outside Texas A&M scheme because he's got outrageous physical tools. And you even saw at the Senior Bowl when they let him be a little more unleashed, he was dominant out there against some all-stars in that setting too. So I see the potential. I see why people love Shemar Stewart, but I'm with you. I'm more of like a late first-round, early second-round type guy.
I think a very wide range of outcomes for him. I think he could be one of the 2 or 3 best edges in this class when all is said and done, or he could drop out of this top 10 completely. I think you have a wide range of outcomes, and a team is going to have to understand we have to develop this guy properly to get him to where he needs to be.
Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.